Chicago.
Greetings from Wisconsin. We are at war. On February 11th, our Governor Scott Walker declared war. He declared war on the working people of Wisconsin. He tried to, and so far has been successful in taking a state that in 1956 passed the first collective bargaining law for public employees and turned us into a right-to-work state with some of the most draconian aspects of any other state. We, as of now, he banned unions at the university level, child care level, and at the university hospital. He's prohibited collective bargaining in all areas for public employees, except the couple unions who supported him for political office, except for just a meager raise, 2% we can bargain about, but not even steps or how that is allocated. He has passed a law that will require us annual recertification of every union, every local, and you have to get 51% of the vote of the people who are eligible, not those who voted. And he has prohibited dues collection. As of 5 days ago, 40,000 of the 90,000 WEAC members, Wisconsin Education Association members, don't have a contract, don't have any dues collection. We have to collect it individually. On top of that, he has cut dramatically public education funding and expanded the private school voucher program, which in Milwaukee is about the second largest school system in the state. No accountability, no evidence that they have succeeded. No, they don't service special needs kids, ELL kids, or kids who are hard to educate. We are under attack. Also, the craft of teaching is under attack. Milwaukee has been declared a die-fi school, and so we're under all the draconian requirements of Arnie. But Governor Walker didn't anticipate what was to happen. Now, let it be said that we on the left progressive side of things and our unions were not prepared. But something happened on the way to try to take away our rights, and that was the people stood up. Yeah. With that, especially the Madison teachers, who for 4 days went on a political general strike, essentially, and they were the leaders. Teachers from around the state eventually joined ranks. When I say eventually, it took some time to convince people to come. And as you know, the rest is history. 50, 60, 70,000 people. The Democrats and the Senate felt strong enough that they could lead. You can see the relationship between mass street protests and effective parliamentary action. However, they didn't manage through a variety of means to pass the law. And now our struggle has moved into a different arena, still street protests, but now we're going to do the largest recall in the history of this nation. When we are going to recall at least 3 of the conservatives and at least set up a goalie, as we say, in the state Senate. But our work is not at all over. We have to learn that we can't just mobilize, we have to organize. We have to combine various tactics of street demonstrations, political action, because elections do matter. We have to initiate a new sense in our union to develop activism. Several years ago, actually under the leadership of somebody here's Dennis Houlihan, former president, our union said that we're moving from a service to an organizing model, embracing the 3 frames of social justice, professionalism, industrial, but it takes a lot to move a union, even a local union, to that. It's easier to say that than to do that, and we're still in that process. We also learned that you have to name the enemy. That's right. We can't just pretend that they're out there, these bad people. There is an enemy. The corporate elite that in the 1980s de-industrialized our Midwestern cities by moving their companies and factories to the south, to overseas, by destroying the private sector unions, family-sustaining jobs. They are now doing the same in the public sector. They're trying to destroy the last vestiges of unionism in Wisconsin by attacking the public sector directly. And we have to call them for what they're doing. We also have to, when we organize, understand the strategic alliance between parents and community. And we're making steps, which I won't go into now, to do that. I'm going to close, because I know that I'm watching the time and I'm respectful of all the great speakers who are to follow and have preceded me, with something else, just a closing about teaching. You know, I've taught for 30 years. I've founded Rethinking Schools. But basically, we look at things through social justice and through the eyes of the classroom teacher. You know, we have our differences amongst ourselves in Rethinking Schools. We don't always agree with ourselves. I don't always agree with myself. But one thing that's come, what we have stressed that I think the unions haven't done enough of, is something that Howard Zinn told me when I edited this book, which is available free of charge. Let's hear it for but you should subscribe to Rethinking Schools. I said, what is the role that could teacher unions play in terms of promoting social justice? He says, if teacher unions want to be strong and well supported, it's essential that they not only be teacher unionists, but teachers of unionism. We need to create a generation of students who support teachers and the movement of teachers for their rights. And I would expand it, the people for their rights. And I want to thank Scott Walker, Governor of Wisconsin, for reminding the teachers of Wisconsin that's necessary. Because when I was in Madison on State Street, looking down, I saw this police car coming up with lights. I thought, oh, those are the university students coming up, right on university students. As they came closer, I realized it was every single student from West High School. High school students walked out in mass. And when the teachers went back to work because they knew they had to, the teachers said that students continued to walk out in place of their teachers. We need to do that. We set up a site on the school site about how to teach about the workers' rebellion, workers' history. I encourage you to add to that. I know many unions do that. And I'm going to close by reading a poem from one of my 5th grade students who is Native American in origin. She goes to our 2-way bilingual school, which thanks to Walker's budget is losing 1/3 of our staff. 1/3, and we're going to have more students next year. 1/3 of our teachers. I put on we talk a lot about politics in my classroom because I tell my students that we're going to study social movements of the past. We're going to learn about social movements of the future, currently, and you're going to decide in the future if you want to participate in social movements, because they're going to exist as long as human beings exist, because we're rooted in justice. And I had on my after recess writing assignment in the journal was just this prompt: what do the budget cuts mean to me? Edie wrote, she's a very shy girl, long hair. And I looked over, I asked if I could read, she said yes. I said, that's a great poem. She said, it's not a poem, it's a letter to the governor. I said, I hope that she would share it, and she did, and she shared it in different places, including the school board, and here it is. A letter to Governor Scott Walker. Budget cuts, an unfair mutiny that destroys the economy and slowly tears apart all humanity and makes the flaws of ourselves that much deeper, that much bigger, and that much more hurtful. It's hard to believe that all this circles around Governor Walker, the king of destroying schools and jobs. So congratulations, Scott. You ruined kids' lives. Now isn't that a sport? Sincerely, just a student.
P.S. Kids in the future, frightened?